Keep still, sweetheart. My breath is right beside your ear, and I can feel the spark in your skin already. Don't move a muscle until I say so. There you go. It's late. The city outside is quiet, and all that's left in this room is the hush of the night lamp and the two of us. I told you I'd stop by after your long day, and here I am, slipping off my coat, smoothing down my blouse, settling onto the edge of your sofa, as though I've always owned this spot. My fingers float just a centimeter above your arm, never quite touching, letting anticipation thicken the air. I smile, soft but mischievous. Relax, I whisper, drawing the word out like warm honey. I promised to look after you, didn't I? And you promised to behave. My nails trace invisible circles in the air. Each one makes you flinch in the loveliest way, and I notice everything, absolutely everything. Before we sink deeper into the evening, tell me in the comments where in the world you're listening from. I adore picturing a tiny pin of light on the map for every heartbeat I'm stirring right now. Yes, go on, drop your location, then come straight back to me. There, that's better. Now, small talk, sweet, delicious small talk, while I loosen the knot of tension between your shoulders with just my voice. How was the commute? Another packed train. I can imagine the sequel. We share that smile, light humor glowing between us before I let silence settle again, heavier this time, richer. Minutes slide by. I recount a little story from work. The elevator that stalled between floors. My colleagues panicking while I leaned against the mirrored wall, humming patiently. It's all about composure, I tell you. Hold still, and the universe tilts in your favor. Then I add, almost absent-mindedly, hold still for me now. Your shoulders tense in the most obedient way. We're only a few minutes in, and already my teasing ricochets through you. So far I've barely touched you, but you feel every syllable like a fingertip. You can spun the instructor instead of the other way around. You laugh, and I adore the way laughter loosens you. I decide to reward you with the softest touch, my pinky grazing the back of your hand. Electricity. You grip the sofa cushion instead of grabbing me. Such restraint. Keep those hands right there. I instruct, smiling. Minutes stretch, and I guide you deeper. I talk about ordinary things, grocery lists, forgotten passwords, my desperate attempt to keep a potted basil alive. Yet each word carries double meaning. Basil needs water, but not too much. You need attention, but not yet. Patience is the season ticket to pleasure. A thought crosses my mind, and I nudge you with my shoulder. What song would soundtrack this moment? I ask. You think, brows knitting, and mumble a title. I scoff playfully, too upbeat. I suggest something slower, strings thrumming like a heartbeat. We debate a few artists until you suggest we simply listen to the rhythm of breathing. Clever. I grant you a quick, approving nod. I drift into musings about travel. I tell you about a seaside town where the streets smell of oranges and salt, where blue tiles write poetry along the walls. I describe renting a small terrace apartment and inviting you to stay, but only if you promise to let me choose every cafe. You picture both of us under a striped umbrella, sand between toes, and I tease that even You grin. I add, one day I may make you demonstrate your loyalty to that cat. So behave. Laughter fades into comfort. I notice the way lamplight halos your hair, how the quiet paints us in gold. My words soften. There is nowhere else I need to be. You exhale, tension melting. We sit wrapped in mellow conversation about childhood forts made of bed sheets, broken pencils chewed during exams, the first time you rode a bike without training wheels. Each memory tenderizes the moment, making the inevitable intensity ahead feel earned. Around the 10-minute mark, your breathing has changed. Each inhale longer, each exhale shaky. I notice. I reward with praise. You're doing wonderfully. I tease about the pending twist. How tonight I'm determined to see how long you last before you plead. You chuckle nervously. Maybe brag you won't fold easily. And I flash a grin sharp enough to cut silk. We reminisce about our first meeting. Rain drumming on cafe windows. Me gently scolding you for mispronouncing my favorite pastry. I tell the story with comedic flair, mimicking your embarrassed grin. You groan in mock horror. I lean close, so my whisper comforts and torments simultaneously. Every moment since, I've planned to have you right here at my mercy. I confess, voice low and sweet. 14 minutes pass. I noted aloud, nearly a quarter hour of restraint. Impressive. I let that sink in before the mood shifts. I uncross my legs, reposition, and let my fingertips finally land on your forearm. Light, tracing lazy loops. My voice thickens with warmth. Look at you. Such willpower. I describe every sensation. How your skin registers each slow stroke. How the room seems to shrink. How the candle's scent of vanilla cardamom wraps around us like a secret promise. I lean in till my lips almost brush your ear. Say it, I whisper, drawing the words out. Tell me you want more. You inhale, but hesitate. I chuckle, raise a brow you can almost feel. Again, say it clearly. knocks out the confession, and I shiver in delight. Compliments flow like silk ribbons. Your steady